Hi guys, and today we've got the new Corolla. This is the 2019 Corolla. It was introduced early in 2019. This is the latest in a long line of Corollas. The Corolla is the world's best-selling car. They sold over 1 million of these. That's 2 Corollas sold every minute. We've probably sold 2 since I've been talking. So this car was available, or is available, in several trims. So it starts off with a basic one, then there's a design one, then there's a sport, and then there's this one, the Excel. Prices start at £24,000. This one is £27,000 to £28,000. I'll go into a little bit more detail. They did originally launch it with a 1.2 litre petrol, but now it's only available as a hybrid. There's 2 versions of hybrids available. There's a 2 litre hybrid, petrol hybrid with 184 brake horsepower, and there's this one, which is actually a 1.8 litre petrol hybrid. It comes with 120 brake horsepower, and that's good enough to give it a 0 to 60 time, or a 0 to 62 miles per hour time of 10.9 seconds, and a top speed of 112 miles per hour. It is of course front wheel drive, and driving those front wheels through a CVT automatic gearbox. You get to 55 to 65 miles per gallon, it's claimed. I personally have seen well over 51 on the car, so it is possible. I guess it depends on how you drive it. And emissions, if you're interested, is 83 grams per kilometer, very low emissions, and of course that is one of the benefits of having a hybrid car, and one of the appeals of having a hybrid car. So as I said, this is the Excel version, 1.8 hatchback. They also come as a saloon, and they come as a, I think they call it the Sports Tourist, the estate version. It's well equipped for this car because, like I said, it's top of the range one. I think the only other thing that you can have, which this one doesn't have, is a panoramic roof. But this car has a Toyota safety sense, pre-collision, pedestrian detection, adaptive cruise control, lane departure, warning, driver's knee bag, curtain airbag, ABS with EBD, it's got traction, it's got vehicle stability control, hill start assist, got electronic handbrake in there as well. It's got the rake and reach adjustable wheel, push button start, keyless entry of course, rain sensing wipers, auto lights, Toyota Touch Go with 8-inch touchscreen, Bluetooth, rear view camera, USB port, dual air conditioning, heated seats, lots and lots of stuff. But what makes it the world's most popular car? What is so good about it? Well, partly it's the practicality and usability of the car. So as usual, let's investigate that first, and we'll start with the boot. So you open the boot from back here. I do like the way this car is styled, by the way. It's very, very sleek. The front is very distinctive. It's a much sleeker Corolla than we've had in the past. And despite that, you'd think that maybe that would compromise some of the space and practicality, but it doesn't, because actually there's quite a huge amount of space in there. There's a 60-40 split folding rear seat, and there's a hook on each side, which is handy to hang your shopping bags, as I found the other day. And underneath here, there is just some space for tools, a few, you could put little bits and pieces down there, but interestingly there's an actual compressor as well. So a tire repair kit with an actual compressor to refill it with air. So reasonably practical back here. What's it like in the rear seats? Let's find out. Whoa, nice to get in here out of the cold, and as you can see, it wasn't the easiest car for me to get into, and once I'm in here, my knees are right up against the seat. Fortunately, it's soft and squashy, so there's just enough room, but my shins are right up against the harder bit of the seat down there, although there is wiggle room for the feet. Now, to be fair, I'm 6'2" with long legs, and this driver's seat is set for me. So this is basically, you know, a 6'+ person sitting behind a 6'+ person. For regular people, I suspect it would be all right, but I would have expected to have a little bit more room. I can probably manage this on shorter journeys, but on a longer journey, this would get uncomfortable for me. So if your family's on the tall side, just beware of that, and get them to sit in the car and check it out. 2 AC vents back here, that's quite useful, and nice design pattern on the seats. That's actually really nicely done. It gives it a really upmarket luxury feel, this, doesn't it? The Corolla has moved up in the world, and the doors have cup holders, cup holder there and a cup holder there, so that's quite handy. And interestingly, when you pull the central armrest down, there's 2 more cup holders. So a lot of coffee drinkers in Corollas, what's that all about? But that's good, that's handy. And child seat Isofix anchor points, obviously always quite useful as well. So otherwise not too bad. No issue with headroom. Again, talking about that sleek profile might have been a bit of a concern, but that's not an issue at all. And it's not claustrophobic because the line here, the window line, is actually relatively lower than I would have expected to be, so the glass area is good. So, you know, it's not bad at all. Time to get in the front and see what that's like. Here we go in the Toyota Corolla Hybrid. Here we are. Check it out. Now this is quite nice when it turns on, so I'll press the start button here. Just watch the screens. Corolla. They're quite proud of the fact that it's a Corolla, and they should be, considering it is the world's best-selling car. So there you go. There's the digital information screen there. It's of course entirely digital, and it gives you a number of different things controlled by that. You've got, of course, you know, your adaptive cruise control on here, and your stereo controls, your lane keep assist, your distance in the adaptive cruise control. So quite a lot of controls on the steering wheel. Of course, your volume control, and this is the bit that controls the information there. So 49.2 miles per gallon. That's mostly been around town. Like I said, I saw 51.2 at one stage with a bit of motorway driving, so I think I could probably better than that. And in fact, you can get quite obsessive about how well you're driving the car, because this bit, although it's not showing anything now because it's been sitting for a while, but it shows you a score. The best score I got was 95. I don't know if it's actually possible to get better than 95, but I got 95 on that. And of course it measures your how you're driving, how smoothly, how much you're braking, and how much you're accelerating, all of that sort of stuff. You can of course get lots of other bits of information on there as well. You can scroll through. Now this is the interesting thing, which is also available on here and also on this, how big is this screen? Does it say somewhere? Didn't I read that? 8-inch screen. There you go, 8-inch screen. You also have it here, so you touch that and then you can actually see. So when you're driving along, it tells you, I don't know, it won't tell you anything now. It tells you, there you go, oh, it has actually, because I just pressed the accelerator, and it tells you whether the engine is charging the battery or whether the battery is running that. You do, of course, have EV mode, so you can actually switch that into EV mode, and you see the engine just went off there. And I think up to a certain speed you could drive it in EV mode, but honestly you don't really use that because the car basically manages all of that by itself. Over here you have the mode selector. There's the mode selector, and so there you go. You have eco and you have normal. Very little difference between eco and normal. I mean, if you really want to try and save fuel, I guess you go into eco, but normal is good enough. And then you've got sport. And sport just basically, I think it just changes the throttle response and the CVT characteristics. So we'll put it back into normal. CVT gearbox, as I said, electronic handbrake, heated seats, just a little pocket down here. This is all your climate control. One thing I found was that I know that there are remotes over here for the volume, but instinctively sometimes I reach across there to turn the volume down, and rather than reach here, which is where it should actually happen, I've often done that one. And if you do that, then you end up with dual climate control and have to go back and reset it or put it back onto dual so it's the same. By the way, this thing, there's your home screen, and it's got sat nav and all the rest of it. No Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, which I'm really surprised about, particularly as the Ego had it, and why would a modern car not have that anymore? But no, it's not on there. Cup holders in there, quite a deep cubby box, and one USB there, and then one power supply there. So just the one USB. I would have expected another one up there, but that's about it. Seating position is quite good, like I said. Let me put that down. The steering wheel is reach and rake adjustable, so that's quite handy. Door pocket down here, you can put a bottle in there as well. All the usual stuff, nice AC vents. I like the way that this is styled. It's very, very handsomely done. And actually, when you think about what people often think of a Corolla as a low rent sort of car or a rental car, but actually that's all soft touch. That's nicely stitched. Right, even up here where you wouldn't normally touch, it's all soft touch. And these are really nicely finished as well. They look good. So a lot of care and effort has gone into this car, and understandably so. And of course, this is pretty much the top spec car that you can get here. So in terms of seating, it's quite good. Visibility all around is reasonably good. There is a reversing camera as well, so that helps. I think the next thing to do really is to take it for a little bit of a drive and see what it's like. Right, so here we are, we're on the move, and it's got to be said straight away that the Corolla very much is designed as a city car, and as such is designed to be very easy to drive, very easy to place, very easy to see out of, ideally suited. The size is good, the ability is good, the maneuverability is excellent, steering is actually very, very light, well judged, responsive as much as you need it to be. you may be thinking that we got a little bit shortchanged with this car because we didn't get the 2-litre, we got the 1.8 with the 120 horsepower instead of the 184. But you know, to be honest, from the get-go, performance is actually very good. There's decent acceleration and decent go. I think some of that electric part of the engine system helps that. But yeah, I mean, the instant response is very good. It runs out of puff after a while, but then around town, that's all you really need, isn't it? To pull out of junctions and to pull onto roundabouts. Ride in town, again, it copes with these surfaces very well. It's a very refined car, very smooth, very nicely damped. You know, it's got a much more upmarket feel than you would normally associate with a Toyota. By the way, I should just mention the B on here because there's always a lot of confusion about that on the hybrid. The B, actually, all it's there for is not to recharge the battery so much. It does, but if you put it into B, it basically increases the braking, essentially the engine braking. So it's like a low ratio, so if you're going downhill like I am now, you can use that to basically slow the car without using the brakes. So that's what that's for. Question is, what would it be like if I did go for a bit of a drive, a bit of a sporty drive? Well, you know what? Let's do that and find out. Right, so let's give this Toyota Corolla a go. This Toyota Corolla Hybrid, I should say, on the sort of roads that would suit a hot hatch, in fact. In fact, we are in normal mode. There's an economy mode, normal mode, and now sports mode, where the instrument panel goes red. And, oh yes, the torque comes on a bit quicker in this one. That's quite good. The steering, I think, yeah, steering feels a bit firmer, so that's quite nice. Brakes could do with more bite. Turning is reasonable. The steering doesn't really live up with any kind of feedback or anything like that, but it is fairly accurate and fairly responsive. The car is managing this course very well. The body composure is very good. Don't feel like I've got a ton of grip, but certainly more than enough to cope with a situation like this. Bear in mind, the roads are a little bit slippery today. So yeah, I mean, actually, it's not at all bad. The turning is fairly positive, and the steering response is fairly positive as well. Yeah, see, just over a corner mid-bump there, not too bad. The composure is fairly solid. You thought it might unsettle, you know, just the sort of corner that was. You thought maybe it might unsettle the car a little bit, but it doesn't really. So the car is all about stability, all about keeping you grounded and keeping you very safe. The ride is actually very good. It's very, very soft. Not soft in a bad way, but soft in the sense that, you know, this is quite a bumpy road that we're on. And okay, yeah, I'm being moved around and stuff, but it's never harsh. It's never juddery. It's never snappy. It's just compliant, you know. It just moves a little, it absorbs the bumps, but it does it in a nice sort of soft way that sort of really dampens the imperfections in the road. Again, just throwing it in sharp, it's quite impressive how well the body handles it, the body control of this car. You know, again, I won't call it sporty, but I'll call it, you know, close to sporty. It's pretty impressive considering what it is. And again, a series of bends here. Yeah, the brakes could definitely do with a little bit more bite, just to give you that little bit of extra confidence when you're doing something like this. But the performance is actually not too bad. I think that extra boost that it's getting from the battery is certainly helping. So so far, impressive, this thing. Yeah, if you just catch out in the wrong place, it needs a little while to get the performance to spin up. But if you get it at the right revs, it's okay. So there, I think, you know, it's sort of, yeah, from lower revs it's fine. If you catch it in the middle of that rev band, then you can catch it out a little bit. But overall, I mean, what an impressive car, considering, you know, that road, like I said, is sort of more hot hatch territory. And whilst it wasn't the most exciting or thrilling on that road, it was certainly very competent and very capable, and actually, I would say, mildly entertaining. So not bad at all. Thumbs up for a Corolla. I think the best thing that can be said about it is the composure and the refinement and the smoothness with which it does stuff. I mean, considering the way that people sort of look down at their noses a little bit at the Corolla, when I use the word refinement, you know, I cannot understate that, considering, you know, the level of car that this is. Very smooth in the way it handles what you're asking it to do and what it's doing. So yeah, real good stuff there. Thumbs up, I think. Yeah, definitely. It is the world's best-selling car for a very good reason. That's because it's very good. So there you go. There's our review of the Toyota Corolla. Hope you enjoyed that. Let us know what you think of the car, the review, me, the weather, anything else you like in the comments above, below, elsewhere, wherever they are. And I hope to see you soon once again in our next review.